All right. We are live, y'all. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another Blacksburg on the Rock.
Greetings.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So let's get started. I want to introduce everyone to James Cleveland, Jimmy Cleveland himself, the man, the myth, the legend. He is here.
No.
Oh,
You did that completely wrong. You did that completely wrong. It is completely wrong.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Jimmy, I want to first apologize for my friend and co-host giving you what arguably was the Andrew Alex of introductions. That was terrible. That was absolutely god-awful. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him. You recognize him from the drive when it was a high point and a low point all at once during COVID. He is the redoubtable, the handsome, the suave. If you're not careful, he will cause anal leakage. James Xavier Jimmy fucking Cleveland Pryatel, baby.
Oh, yeah! Thank you both, fellas. I'm happy to be here. I just want to start off and say thank you both. You're both two of the greatest members of the Southwest Virginia community. The town has just taken off since you both have been prevalent in it. And I just want to thank you both for your commitments to the community, to making this town better, and to bringing all of us a bunch of joy.
That was way too fucking wholesome for you, Jimmy. What the fuck was that?
You're both. You gotta pump you guys up a little bit. You don't get a lot of hype.
Appreciate that.
And it's gonna be a great fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking of anal leakage, does that jersey give you anal leakage? Because that thing is god awful.
Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in the NFL. He is without a doubt.
Aiden Hutchinson went down.
Coming up, the former defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. I think I bought this when I was hungover on a plane coming home from Cleveland last Christmas. And so, yeah, it's great. It's great to be here, though. Thanks for having me, guys.
Marnie, I'm going to slap the taste out of your mouth one of these days.
Chris Arnold says, can someone get Paul a better microphone? And Marnie says, and a better camera. Or no camera. I'm okay with that, too. Chris Arnold agrees with him. But yeah, so everyone, welcome. It has been a interesting few weeks, and not great at all. But we'll get into that later. Paul, I believe you have a certain thing you want to get off your chest here.
Yeah, I'm at the point with this team, with this program, that I have become melancholy. James, I am at the point now where I don't care. And I think that that's probably the worst place to be, right? Because if I love them, it's fantastic. Even if I hate them, like I hate what's going on, that's fine. At least I have emotion. Right now, today, I'm just like,
Yeah.
Is there a better game on Saturday that I could watch than that game? Because why put myself through that at this point? Like I've reached the spot in life where, and I hate to say this, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And couldn't agree more.
It's because of what's going on the last couple of weeks. It's just
it's been terrible. Jeremy, let me ask you this. How long have you been a fan of Virginia Tech football? You've been a fan for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, I came here in 2004, and that's when the fandom really kicked into high gear. So it's been 20 years, and I've, these last 5 years, it's never felt lower. You got to understand, when I was here, we won 10 games, no matter what. Like that was just the floor for our seasons. I remember getting mad that it was annoying that we were always stuck going to the Orange Bowl instead of going to different bowls. That's how spoiled we were. And we're now getting to the point where we would love to go to one of the big name bowls. Hell, if we made the playoffs, everyone was kind of hoping, holding out hope for, that would have been a really big deal today. And back then we would have made it quite a bit. And
yeah, we're happy to even be in the Belk Bowl now. Like my friends are like, oh my God, we could make the Belk Bowl. We could go to Charlotte. Oh my God, it could be a big deal. And now we're going to be playing in Shreveport, Louisiana again.
Yeah,
Maybe.
It's disgusting what's becoming of the program, and it's a product of not keeping up with the times. It's a product of not having the investment there. It's a product of a lot of us being spoiled, including the administration. And we are kind of coming to it. And we made a series of hires that were questionable. And right now, I think it's safe to say that the Pry hire is not exactly working out. We had all this talent on this team. We spent a fortune on our coaching staff. We spent a fortune on our talent, and the product is not there on the field. We have 1 lost games this season. I think we've lost at this point 4.
I think we lost 4 1-loss games, right?
And then a 10-point loss to Clemson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are games that we should have won. And had we won, we'd be looking at this program in an entirely different way. Hell, if we would have just won our out of conference, we'd be like, well, we dropped to the top 2 teams. We probably should have beat Miami. We dropped one to Clemson, and, we always expected to drop one we should have won in ACC play. We would have been feeling a little bit better. But this is something that is continuing to happen, and not just in this season, but in previous seasons, where we're not seeing improvement from a coaching standpoint in these tight games. And that is becoming a problem, and conversations need to be had.
We get told that we can't talk about the past, right, Jeremy? Because I'm in the same boat as you, where I've been a Tech fan since about 06, 07. I was a little boy. And now I remember the year we went 9-3 with Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
I still am in many parts. A lot of people do think I'm a little boy just by the way I act. But I'm a full-grown man, regardless of what people out there think. But, or at least I like to think so. But, Jeremy, we went 9-3 with Logan Thomas, and we were like chomping at or biting our nails, like, oh my God, like,
oh yeah,
we're not going to make the Orange Bowl. Like, this season's been a waste. Like, we'll be lucky, and then we magically made the Sugar Bowl, and then the Beamer's final years, like 8-4, and we were like, oh my God, like this program's falling off. 8-4, what are we doing? And now we're getting told, you know what, you will get 6-6, and you'll like it. You'll like it. You'll get 6-6, and you'll like it, and you'll be happy, and you won't bitch and moan.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible because we're not used to that. But on top of it, that should not be what's going on. I talking to some of our, I'll call them the sports media here, especially talking to like Sheldon and Cunningham. They say, like, we can put together a decent program, and every once in a while we can pop off and, maybe win the ACC. And to me, I don't think that's good enough coming from where we were. We used to call that ACC championship game the Hokie Invitational, and we're just not there. And we're so far away from being there. And NIL can help turn things around quite a bit because you can redo your roster with enough money. But I don't know where we're standing at right now. We're looking at the Department of Education possibly getting gutted, a lot of rules going out the window, and we're going to be thinking, what is the point of most of these non-rev sports? So we're looking at an entirely different world once we've already just now adjusted to the world that we're in. And we think that we're getting ahead, and it's constantly changing. We've got to be the innovators, and we've got to stay out of ahead. And we're just not doing that. We're always playing catch up.
I will say that I still believe that Brent Pry probably is the guy to run this program. I just think, much like Justin Fuente, Chris Arnold says it, welcome back to the Fuente error. I just think, unlike Fuente, what he has to be willing to do is he has to be willing to cut ties with his boys and say, look, there's a difference between, look, I love you guys, and I always will, but this is business. I'm making $5 million, $6 million, $7 million, whatever he's making a year. I got to get this team winning, and it's not happening with you guys running my offense and my defense. I got to go in a different direction. I know that Pry makes some errors like in clock management, but I think part of the reason why he's in those situations is because the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator don't put them in situations where it's just simple common sense. It really has to be thought out And so I still believe that he's probably the guy to run the program. I just think that he needs to go find an OC and a DC that have some experience and are able to actually call a game for him. Hello, Igor.
Yes, and we should have thought about that. That was my biggest criticism whenever the hiring started happening was,
why didn't we hire experienced coordinators? Why was that not forced upon them?
Why didn't we hire an experienced head coach? Like, it's, to me, that was obvious. We're not trying to like pass off this program that's already in a great place to someone who has like this great vision. We've got to get back there, and we need people with fucking experience to do that. And if we don't have it in the head coaching position, we have to have it in the coordinator positions. Mm-hmm. And it's like, fuck, I don't care. I don't care if you're not going to make a flashy hire. I'd like a big, flashy, experienced hire, but we probably weren't going to make that. But I mean, fuck, Jerry Keel, Jesus, that man knows how to run a program. He at least knows how to run like an entire unit. Like, those are the kind of hires that we need right now.
We need to bring in someone with experience and force them on to pry, whether that is in some consulting type of position, whether that's coordinators, whether that's position coaches. We need guys that have been there before, because it's very obvious that Brent Pry is learning on the job. And I will say, Paul, I like Brent Pry. Okay. Yep. And I think we're all frustrated because we see the same mistakes week after week. And the way that we lose is just fucking bullshit. And we're sick of it. Yeah. But I think we all like him. And I think I'm with you. I think he's a good guy to lead a program. He's a good figurehead. He's a very likable guy. Everybody seems to like him. The players like him. The donors like him. The fan base likes him. But he's just learning on the job. And at what point do we have to keep suffering with this guy learning on the job? Because he continuously learns on the job. It doesn't really seem like he's learning. He's put in the position, but he's not learning.
Yeah, what he needs is those coordinators that are like, timeout, call a fucking timeout. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I guarantee you that the two guys running the offense and the defense are not those guys. They are not guys in his ear going, call a fucking timeout right now. Like, and that's what he probably needs. He needs someone to just nudge him along, say, yeah, we need to preserve this 8 seconds. We can't have this clock run down this way. And then, go, oh shit, well, we ran out of time. Why did we run out of time? Well, because you let 8 fucking seconds run off the clock, and now we're stuck with whatever we have. So,
and we could go all day and criticize him too, Paul. And it's just like, but it's just something that is such common sense. What are we doing going into the halftime with 3 timeouts? Right? Yeah. Call it a big third down, call a timeout. Get your defense set. Big third down on offense, call a timeout. Run the play you want to run. Like, this is stuff that, again, he's learning on the job, but it's just frustrating as a fan to watch this stuff week in and week out. It's like, dude, come on. You got to have learned a little bit from James Franklin.
Right. Yeah, you would think.
Seriously, give me a 12-year-old playing fucking NCAA and their time management skills over what we've seen with Pry at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, that
is very
disgusting. Fair. I also, I don't know what's going on with our offense. I know our main guys are hurt. We really could have used them that last game. But really, the biggest question to me is what the fuck happens to our defense in the second half, the last 2 games?
Oh, it's been terrible.
It's been terrible. Lights out the first half, both games. Lights out.
They're out there the whole first half, Jeremy. They're out there the whole first half. When your offense goes 3 and out or 6 and out, your defense doesn't get a chance to rest. They're gassed, man. Like, the players, listen, the players aren't the fucking problem. It's the dudes sitting in the press box with the headsets on going, what do we call here? That's the issue. It's not a personnel issue. It's not a player issue. It's a schematic issue. It's a coaching issue. It's a running the offense, running the defense issue. Like, that's where the changes have to happen. Yeah. I talked about this last week. Frank Beamer, back in 1906 or whatever the fuck it was told, you have got to replace your coordinators. You are getting your ass kicked. Replace your coordinators. He went out, he replaced his coordinators. All of a sudden, Virginia Tech football in the Sugar Bowl, almost winning a national championship. Danny Cole almost catching a pass, right? Like, I mean, those are the things that happen. Like,
you dick.
sometimes you just gotta look. I love Jimmy Cleveland, but if Jimmy Cleveland is running my offense and my offense is trash, I'm gonna tell Jimmy Cleveland, buddy, I love you.
Time to go.
I got to go a different way. I got to hire Jeremy Counts. Have you seen what he's doing over there at the pharmacy? He can give you all the drugs. So, like, that's, I mean, sometimes you got to have that hard conversation. Yeah, that's right. He'll hook you up.
Why is it?
We may as well get it out of the way. Our rock
hard. Oh, God. The rock hard
player of the week.
Brought to you by Counts Family Pharmacy.
Wow.
Where you can get a year's supply of generic Viagra for just $150. He was our rock hard player of the week a couple of weeks ago, and he made it back in because he's the only dude that showed up to fucking play this week. Mose Phillips, 6 tackles, 3 assists, looking good again for the Hokies on the defensive side of the ball. I would love to give it to somebody else, boys and girls, but you got to step up. Mose Phillips,
Mo Phillips taking that rock hard trophy on both ends. He's getting a run on him. Well done, Mo. Yeah. Well done.
Rose, shout out, brother. Thanks for showing up and playing.
Thank you.
Quentin Reddish showed up and played a little bit. You got to give him a little props. He's a young kid.
He did.
He had a big play. He's a young kid. That's the other thing that was fucking frustrating is I'm sitting there in the stadium and I go, we have 7 points. It's a third quarter, and they're from a fucking blocked field goal. What are we doing?
Yeah.
That was shit, though. Like, that was awesome. Like, everything seemed good. The atmosphere seemed good, but I didn't get to actually go to the ball game. Like, I had to watch the tiny one while Emily and her brother were in town, and I couldn't take the tiny one with us. So I hung back and let them go to the game, which I blame myself for this loss. I feel like we would have played better if I were there because sometimes the kids around you, they really need an example. Like, I don't feel like they know how to shit talk enough.
That is fair. That is very fair.
You nice.
You are.
Let me ask you guys this. I got a question for you because I feel the exact opposite about this as I do the way Brett Pry has been coaching. What is your guys' thoughts and experiences so far in Lane Stadium? I know, Paul, I don't know if you've been to a game this year, but Jeremy, give me your thoughts about generally going to Lane Stadium and the interactions and the whole experience at Lane Stadium. I want to know from somebody.
Too much shit happening. Like, no one's getting mad. Like, before plays, it's great. We have Bailey do a segment, and I love Bailey's segment. It's good. It keeps people's attention during fucking media timeout so you don't have me just drunk and cursing at the TV timeout guy all the time. And that's great. The problem is they do that, and then they'll pump in a bunch of shitty music up until, like, the play's going, and it's like, you got to give everyone time to get loud. And they're not, it's not happening. And so it takes the crowd out of it a little bit. And not to sound too, like, old, but I feel like the Suns, Pat and Billy, they had really good points about, like, why is anyone doing the wave while we're losing? And why are we doing all this on, like, this huge third down when everyone should be in like, the environment? There's a little too much entertainment that isn't football there. And it's fine. We need to have our segments, but we don't need to pump in as much music. Let the band play. Let the environment be the environment. It's the fucking Terror Dome. Like, we're not there to listen to, like, shitty 2000s pop music. But
what if they played Pump Up the Jam over and over?
I mean, I'm okay with
Pump Up the Jam. Pump it up.
What if they just everyone chant and stick it in when we're on the 20-yard line?
Oh, see, I would be down for
doing that. We need to bring back the official fucking drum line because just chanting "stick it in" is not the same. It's not the same as having the beat because that fucking drum beat, it would start to be like, yeah. I mean, that's where it's at, and you can't pull that off without a drum beat, like the cadence of it. You can't do that. We need that kind of environment again, but it's also hard to create that kind of environment when we're not fucking winning.
But I agree.
You're not wrong.
Yes.
But
Marnie, he does sound old. You're right.
I'm getting there. I'm getting old.
You're rubbing off on you, buddy. Before you know it, you're gonna have the gray beard, and then you're just gonna be like, "Let's do a podcast where we just sit on the front porch and yell at the clouds." And I'll be like, fuck yeah."
But no,
that's what it is.
Hold on. I was talking to my friend Donovan, who brought his kids up, and he called me after the game, and he was like, "Dude, this is ridiculous. I'm over there in the stands, and you have like all of us, like the millennials, and we're screaming our heads off, just cursing, just like going at everything, because when we were in college, Tech was good, and we're used to that environment. And then it was just like, and then you've got the old people who never really liked that to begin with, and then you've got like the newer kids who have no fucking clue how it used to be done.
Right.
And it's like everyone that's getting crazy at these games are all fucking middle-aged assholes like me.
Well, and that's because you look at a guy like Pudge, right? One of my best friends. Pudge was a year older than me in school. Pudge, the fucking man, had never seen a team. He saw one good team. What was that, 2017? 2016, when we went to the ACC championship. So in almost a decade of football, he has seen one good team. And so he doesn't know what it's like. He doesn't know that we should all be losing our fucking minds and screaming. He wasn't there for the big wins or for the big losses even. The big games that we had. He was never there when we were playing the Orange Bowl or Boston College at home in the rain, or the Georgia Tech legendary Georgia Tech Thursday night games, or when we destroyed Miami at home. What was that, like 2007 or 8, or I think it was. I mean, he doesn't know what it's like to win. And I don't blame these kids for not really having the passion and getting angry like we do, because they're just going with the flow. They're like, well, we're happy. We've been told we should be happy with 7-5. If an 8-4 season's good, 6-6. And so it sucks that it's been a decade since this team's been fucking relevant.
It really has been a goddamn decade. I can't believe it's been a fucking decade.
Oh my God.
8-5. Yeah, it has. 8-5 was supposed to be the floor this year, guys. Like when we sat down in August and we went through the schedule, we were like, there is no reason that this team with this amount of talent and everybody back for a second year, like there's no reason that this team doesn't at least win 8 games. And now we're looking at it going, fuck, we got to go to Duke this week. And Duke isn't that bad, right?
We're scared of Durham.
We are scared of Duke. Let that fucking sink in for a second. We are scared to play football, not basketball. Basketball, it's okay. Football in Duke.
I will not sit here and apologize for having expectations for this team, because some people may watch this. Some people may look at me week after week and they say, all you do is bitch, all you do is moan, all you do is complain. Well, guess what? I'm sorry. I want my team to be good. I'm sorry that this team should be good, because they haven't been good in about 6. You know how hard it is to not have like a 8-win season at a major program in like 8 years? Or when was the last time we won 8 games? I mean,
it would have been 17. He won
17.
Because that was the year. That was the year of the Chase Muma greatest play in Hokie history.
That was the greatest play. Shout out Chase Muma, doing an excellent job there at Tennessee Tech. The dude he might be coaching Georgia next year. Who knows?
That is
Florida.
true.
He could take Billy Napier's job.
Chase just does a great job wherever he goes.
But yes, I will not apologize for having expectations.
No, and you shouldn't. You should. This is a Power 4 football program with prestige and history. Like, we are not talking, no offense, Chase, we are not talking Tennessee Tech here. This is Virginia fucking Tech. This is, I mean, this is why I have become melancholy. This is why I become non-caring, because it's either don't give a fuck or have an aneurysm. And I'm too young to have an aneurysm, so I'm just not going to give a fuck.
Please don't have an aneurysm.
Please don't have an aneurysm.
No. I would like to take a second, if I could. Veterans Day was yesterday, gentlemen. I just want to take a moment to thank all of those that served, specifically Bridget, Eileen, Megan, Hannah, Brittany. They all served. Very proud of them.
Well, that was fun.
That was weird. Yeah. Jimmy Cleveland, do you know who all those people are that I just mentioned?
No.
Let me run through them again. Bridget, Eileen, Megan, Hannah, and Brittany.
I don't know any of those people.
Those are Priatel girls. They have served.
They are like, they're not even my immediate family.
That's all right. They're
like relatives. They're not. There are some of those people married into my family.
They served.
You're a clown, Paul. You're a clown.
Thank you.
You always have been.
Thank you. But to all those that did actually serve, mad props. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So
yes.
I want to ask
and
you
also
guys
accept
another
my
question.
friend request, you piece of shit.
Me?
Huh?
Yes.
On what?
On Facebook.
Oh, dude, I haven't been on Facebook in months. Dude, I'm not fucking 50. I'm not 55. I don't go on Facebook. I go on TikTok, bro. I go on TikTok.
You go on TikTok, bro. We're actually live on TikTok right now.
I go on TikTok and I watch all the TikToks.
Yeah, we got.
I watch the dances.
100 some likes. Thanks to you, Daniel Cantrell. We love you, Daniel.
All right.
And Sabrina's on here. Shout out to Sabrina and Daniel.
We love you, Sabrina.
Is
Sabrina
this
Carpenter.
a TikTok dance?
Yes, that is a TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Yes, well done.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
on to Hokey High, sponsored by Bear Dance Hemp. What would we actually say was a high point of this game?
The block field goal.
The field goal. Block field goal.
Yeah.
It was cool as shit.
That block field goal, I was watching from home, and that block field goal was a holy fuck. Look at that moment. Like that was good. Yeah.
It was cool as shit.
Took me back to the good old days.
That was maybe like the most electric play. That might be the most electric play I've seen in Blacksburg this year. Maybe Tootin running that one he broke off against Georgia Tech that was like 75 yards or something like that. That was a big one. But that block punt, I mean, we were right there in section 115, right where he scored the touchdown at, and the stadium was fucking losing it, man. It felt great.
Yeah. That's the kind of shit. But we also have to remember back in the day, those were the plays that were just kind of normal because we had so many playmakers. Our playmakers would just go off, and it's just like, oh man, we didn't have like the greatest offensive scheme in the world, but we had like Tyrod fucking Taylor who would just like bust. It would just be giant, and he'd make this huge play. And that would always keep us in the game. And that's what we live for, was those huge moments, because we had this system. We'd dink and dunk and we'd drive up, and then one of our players would just go the fuck off. And then that would get everyone in the game. We were a big play team. Like, that's what we were. That was our brand. We had a strong defense, and we busted big-ass plays on offense. It was exciting. Hell, we did it on special teams. That was our brand. That's what we did. And now it feels like that is so far and few in between that it doesn't feel like Virginia Tech football anymore.
Yeah. My question, I guess, is what are we doing with this talent, right? Like, look at the stats, and I can pull them up if I need to, but like, you look at guys like Ollie Jennings, Daquan Felton, right? Like, their stats are not great. So one of two things is the issue. Well, I guess one of three things. Either Kyron Drones isn't a really good quarterback, which I don't think is the case. They're not really good wide receivers, which I don't think is the case. Or the scheme is just so shitty that these poor guys, like, they are out there. Like, if you are an NFL team right now, God's honest truth, are you looking at Ollie Jennings or Daquan Felton as a potential draft pick? I don't think you are. They just don't have the stats. They don't have the numbers to back it up.
Daquan's a big body receiver. He might be able to get.
Well,
he might be able to get
maybe,
looks.
but like so like
sixth round, fifth round,
down to maybe. But I mean, like, I feel bad for these guys, right? Because they came back expecting that they were going to get touches and that their cachet was going to increase, and it hasn't. And I don't think it's because Kyron Drones can't hit them. I think it's piss poor scheming, and you're not even trying to get them open. Like, Jeremy, we sat and watched the game. Was it West Virginia that we sat and watched? No, it was. What game did we go to?
Which time?
It was early in the season this year.
Oh, this year? No, we didn't play West Virginia. I forget which game you and I. No, it was the home opener. Yeah, it was Marshall.
Marshall. Thank you. I knew it was a school in West Virginia.
Shout out Angry Dad on TikTok. We love you, Bill.
Yeah.
We love you, Bill.
And Bill, shout out. And, we kept saying, like, the whole game, we're like, take a fucking shot. Like, just run these guys down the field. Skinny coach, take a fucking shot. Okay. And
sorry. Was that Tim Sands calling? Was that Tim Sands calling to shut us down?
Yeah. No, I got a thing. Sorry, everyone. If you haven't noticed, I also run the production side of these things while we're doing this, and sometimes my audio will get in there because I got to fix my mixer. But continue, Paul. Continue with your.
You're good. You're good. My whole point is we're not doing these. Okay, fuck the fans. Fuck all of us. But these kids are there to try to get to the next level. Yeah, and they're not getting to the next level because, there's just nothing. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm frustrated.
We want these kids to go to the NFL. We want them to do well because they're out here and they're busting their ass for us. And NIL gets a lot of things out in the open, and we can compensate these kids for all the damage they're doing to their body and all the risks they're taking for us, for our fucking entertainment. And I love that about them, and I appreciate it. But let's also not downplay how much we fucking fans matter. Because
we do, but I'm saying these kids are here because they think here gets them to the next level.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not and that's another thing that just frustrates the piss out of me. So now, I'm trying to pull up stats right now. Go ahead, James.
No, I was just going to say, going from here, because we've pointed out a lot of obvious flaws, right? And I don't think Brett Pry's going anywhere, which we already said. I don't think he is, but if this season doesn't work out, and next season doesn't work out either, there's a real possibility they're cleaning house in Merriman, which is you think things are bad now, and you think things have been bad over the last couple of years. Once you clean house, athletic department, things get even worse. I mean, that is the lowest of the low that it gets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think people realize, shout out Joe Rogers, what a full reset would look like in the athletic department. Don't get me wrong. There's some old heads and everyone else that we got to kind of get rid of to kind of get things on track, but a full wipeout's not good.
Ollie Jennings comes back from injury. His stat line on the season, 7 catches, 164 yards, and 2 touchdowns. There are dudes at other schools that do that week in and week out.
Hey, 3-0, right?
3-0.
Yeah. I mean,
we've seen what he can do. We've seen his athleticism. And I think that I agree with you. We just can't get them plays to get open. And, again, Drones is a fine quarterback. Drones is a fine quarterback. He has flaws, but a lot of quarterbacks have flaws. He's very serviceable. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks we've had since, maybe Gerard Evans. I'd put him at number 2.
Without a healthy Tootin.
Yes. And I think there's a lot of reasons our O-line isn't good, but I like Drones, and I'm with you, Paul. I like Jennings, and I like Felton, and I think it's a shame that we can't get them the ball.
Yes.
Yeah. This is not an indictment on the kids. Not at all. And if you think it is, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. This is an indictment on what's going on from an OC and a DC standpoint. Come on, man. What are we doing? Again, fuck us. Fuck the fans. Do something for these kids, because these kids are out there hanging it out every freaking week for what? So they can go work at Avis, the rental car place. Come on, man. What the fuck?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
I want to just bring it in that we didn't get to do the full vibe check earlier, and I just wanted to say that
shout out to Joseph Rogers.
Shout out to Joe Rogers.
Love you, brother.
The vibe check, the vibe around Blacksburg is really bleak right now. Like, I don't work Monday, so I wasn't there for that initial one. But today, everyone who came in to talk about it, they're like, I mean, Dave Phillips talked to Dave today. It was full on. So, what do you think about the game? And he was like, all right, let's talk about wrestling. And so, Dave, he really follows Virginia Tech wrestling. Everyone's moving on to other sports already.
Yeah. It's basketball season.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on basketball season.
It's going to be rough, too.
I want to digress here and ask you fellows a question as well.
What?
And I just want to say that, as you know, Virginia Tech going to see a night game at Lane Stadium is something special, and it's a bucket list item, right? And I know we haven't played well in those night games recently, but still, the crowd comes, they bring the energy. It's fucking Terror Dome, for heaven's sake. Yeah. It's nuts. And whether we're good or bad, you know, you can argue, oh, it's a tough place or not, but it is. It's a tough place to play. So what the fuck is happening in this town? Because if you're a Clemson fan and you went to Blacksburg for the night, first of all, you can't find a place to stay. It's almost impossible. And then you want to go out and grab something to eat or enjoy the town, and you can't because the fucking lines are nuts. I mean, what the fuck is going on here? Can someone tell me what's going on? Is it lack of investment?
Jimmy, let me tell you about the town of Blacksburg.
All about putting a tree in front of a sign, James.
Yes, just putting a tree in front of my goddamn sign. No,
they did put a tree.
Chris Arnold,
I saw that.
Yes. The town of Blacksburg is very hard for students to be students, and it makes it very hard to have a vibrant downtown scene. The state of Virginia also makes it very hard to have a vibrant downtown scene because you have to have so much of your sales in food rather than alcohol. So we've already got that working against us. So on top of the fact that there's a lot of people in town who really don't like to see like the football scene and work against it, you also have that. So that on top of the fact that it's hard to start up something like a restaurant/bar in Blacksburg because rent is insanely high. So you've got to try to make that overhead. And whenever you're down for at least 3 months of the year, more like 4, where you're not getting that kind of business, all of your profits go into staying afloat there. But the price in Blacksburg with rent and really just a lot of cost of living as far as doing business in Blacksburg, you are still having to pay that year round. So it is a struggle. It's hard to just plop down a business and be like, oh, I'm serving a need, because it costs so much to do business there. So you've got a lot of things working against you, and it's hard to, just put in more bars. And the bars that are there that have been around for years, there's a reason they've been there for years. Number one, they know how to do it. They know how to they know the feast and famine times. They know how to plan around it. Number two, they don't have a ton of business loans, and they own their own building and everything else. So they don't have all this overhead that a new business will have to have. So in general, it's hard to do business in Blacksburg, let me tell you, especially whenever you don't have a ton of margin like a fucking pharmacy right now.
Chris Arnold has a really good idea there, Jeremy. I think that's a great idea. I think Chris Arnold's idea is fantastic. You should set up a bar inside the grill.
Wow. You get your drugs and your alcohol.
Listen, I know a lot about alcohol, and I could run a bar. I don't know shit about running a restaurant. There is no way I could ever run a restaurant.
You don't have to run a restaurant. You just have to have a certain percentage of your sales be oxycodone, and you'll be fine.
Have we thought about this? Arresting
no one makes money
everyone. Arresting everyone on town council and framing the mayor, and then installing Jeremy as czar, and then Frank Merritt's the only councilman.
That's fair. We could add Jay Tucker in there.
We could add Jay Tucker.
Yep.
Jay Tucker. That's my president, Jay Tucker, president of Blacksburg.
Yes. I like that. We can have a puppeteer government, kind of.
Angry Dad, you are welcome. You are welcome to run any restaurant I have. Angry Dad just volunteered to run a restaurant. He does a lot of meat smoking. Right. What was the name of the fucking thing you made?
He smokes a lot of meat. He's familiar with meat.
Cleveland also smokes a lot of beef.
He makes this
no beef.
He makes this thing where it's like Spam wrapped in bacon and then smoked in applewood and cherry, and it's supposedly like the greatest thing ever, and I've yet to try it.
This guy knows how to handle some meat.
Yeah, he does.
I've got to try that. Yeah, we got to do that. But first, I want to tell everyone who's out there. Well, Jimmy, I'll let you tell it. Jimmy, tell us about your long legal battle with your landlords in Blacksburg?
I was innocent.
Yes.
I was innocent.
Jimmy, you straight up told me you were throwing bags of trash out of your own window.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm not naming names, so maybe I can. But when the opposite lawyer representing the landlord walks in and hugs the judge, and they're laughing, I don't know. Could be something there, but but
you hired that judge, Jimmy.
I should have. I slipped a little bell.
Too. It's called judge shopping.
You should have. You should have asked for a change of venue. You should have gone to Radford. They would have given you a better deal.
I know, but I didn't know this at the time. Didn't know. I didn't know. I don't want to touch on it. I don't know what I can legally say. My lawyer isn't present. I don't know if I can go to jail.
Don't you have him on speed dial?
I do. He's called my dad, but yes. Okay. So I lived with the guy named Pudge. He was a beautiful man. Think about Ryan Gosling meets Tom Cruise. Okay. Beautiful man.
He is.
And
I vehemently disagree.
You met him.
Kind of like
Rin
Tin Tin's ass meets Lassie's balls, but whatever.
And then think about the intelligence of Albert Einstein. Okay, so you add all those three up. He's the perfect man. I love him. So he was my roommate, and we lived in like a frat house. So,
this is the first time I ever met James. This is a great story.
And so
this was at your apartment. This was in the
This was the house.
This was an off-campus fraternity house. This was an off-campus rented house from a landlord.
I thought you were doing this at the penthouse. I was like, God.
Well, we did that too. We did that as well. We had a little problem there with trash. Yeah. But Pudge and I lived upstairs in this house, and there's just two of us. And then we had a little bedroom or a little extra room where we hung out. So we never had to go downstairs except to like get upstairs. So we would throw parties downstairs and the house would get nasty. We got a cat. The cat lived downstairs. We lived upstairs. And
that Dale?
That was Dale. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Dale.
God, I told you. We tried to get he got hit by an 18-wheeler.
It was Dale Earnhardt Jr. Senior.
The second Dale Earnhardt Senior. So junior,
yes.
Senior, junior. We tried to get him stuffed. We tried to get him stuffed, but he was too flat. He said, whatever.
He was pretty long.
Too flat.
You should see what taxidermists can do these days. They would have made it work.
That's true.
But anyway, so we wouldn't go downstairs and dispose of our trash. We would just throw it out. We would just take it literally and just plop it down and throw it out the window. And it'd land near the trash cans. And
you know what?
We never really checked on it though. That's the thing. So like we started doing that in like February, and then by the end of the year, like in May, we kind of realized they had gotten out of hand, and there was a fuck ton of trash, one could say, on the side of the house, as well as having to clean up that trash, as well as the lower stairs that we never used, the bottom of the house, and then the basement had a bunch of trash in it too, like just bullshit from years of people living there. We just couldn't get it out in time. We didn't have enough time. It was tough with 3 people. We were college kids. We didn't have a means to get it out. And so Pudge, I'm going to blame Pudge here. He might have just left it there on the side of the house and not cleaned it up. And
Andrew came to me at one point. He's like, Pudge and James might go to jail.
The landlord is not happy.
What you had to do was ask like one of us to help. I would have helped you all get a truck to get the trash off the side of the fucking house.
That would have been too much work. That would have been a lot of work.
Now we're to the bottom of it. It was too much work to clean up all the trash.
Listen, we have gotten like away with like a year's worth of being the biggest dumbasses in this house. We literally let a cat live downstairs. He had the entire first floor. We never went down there. And so we got away with so much shit that we were like, oh, we'll get away with this. And unfortunately, the landlord, she got a little mad. Okay. And she decided to take us to court. Okay. And at one point she said, fine, we'll call it even. you don't owe us anything. And we were actually countersuing for our security deposit back.
I remember that.
So we
Terrible
said no.
idea.
Yeah, it was a terrible idea. And we should have taken the deal. It would have been nothing.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we didn't get anything. And then we had to pay like $1,000 each. Me, Pudge, and we had a third roommate named James as well. And so yeah, it was terrible. It was a terrible experience. $1,000 out of my pocket. Couldn't go to the bar for a month. Terrible.
Was that one James Mountain?
James Mountain. I lived with James Mountain, a beautiful man as well.
I love James Mountain. Great guy.
Ladies,
you know James Mountain?
And gentlemen,
You know James
Mountain? Lock up your moms if James Mountain is around, because he is the original milk hunter.
He is the original Mr. Steal Your Mom.
Cougar player.
Yeah. Chris Arnold, the landlord.
What's the landlord? Karen Carenson. No, Karen Carenson. She does not do anything useful like manage properties. Karen Carenson's very bored at the house and just decides to jump on whatever problems come up in a Facebook group. That's what Karen Carenson does. Did you ever see the Karen Carenson video?
No, I don't know what you're talking about at all. It just seems like this woman's a giant bitch.
You don't see it.
No,
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it for everyone right now.
All right.
Ready?
All right.
Hello, I'm Karen Carenson, candidate for Blacksburg Town Council. There are lots of issues facing our town, and as someone who has lived here since the 90s, I know exactly how to approach these problems. Using nostalgia and scapegoating is a way to profiteer from them. You see, Blacksburg was a shithole in the 90s, but don't let facts get in the way of wildly inflating our real estate value. As a town council member, I will not only perpetuate this housing crisis, but also deflect blame to the very students that enrich us, yet we despise. We will accomplish this by holding up any and all housing developments, idealizing a time when no one wanted to live here, finding obscure species and claiming anything fun or loud as a threat to them. A marketing campaign that tricks retirees into living in student-dense areas. Tear gas to disperse Center Street gatherings over 50 people. Public floggings of anyone displaying Greek letters. With my plan, we'll be able to continue to inflate our home values and torture students while taking the moral high ground. Vote for me, Karen Carenson, and save the salamanders.
Riveting stuff. Why would
that is fucking golden.
The more I hear Carenson talk, the more I feel like she's the kind of person that would come from Honaker, Virginia. She would be the original Honaker Tiger, that moved to Blacksburg, and because you know that the Honaker Tigers are the original Tigers of Southwest Virginia. They are the true Tigers of Southwest Virginia.
Paul, I'm going to gut you and I'm going to play jump rope with your entrails. I'm going to burn your house down and I'm going to dance in your hot, sticky remains while everyone cries around you. And I'm going to laugh.
Brick. I have a brick house.
There was maybe only one other person that I have a lot more respect for than Karen Carenson, and that is somebody who's a stand-up person, a stand-up athlete, someone who's done nothing but winning, and that is Matt Ryan. And you gotta love Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan.
Jimmy, you're just trying to get a rise out of me. I understand. You suck dick.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, you could argue that Matt Ryan was one of the two greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Tom Brady, Matt Ryan. In that order, I can make that argument and make it legit for you. Not just piss off Jeremy argument. I legitimately can make that argument more to piss off Brennan, but that's okay.
Peyton Manning's not even top 5.
Peyton Manning.
Dan Marino up there.
Peyton Manning and what he did for his offense was way better than any other quarterback ever. He ran that entire offense. He was like having an offensive coordinator on the field.
System quarterback.
Incredible.
Yeah.
System quarterback.
Mr. Peyton Manning it was his system. He ran it. He ran a no-huddle offense. Oh my God. Oh my God.
System quarterback at best.
Arm. Chris Arnold, I've invested enough that I officially have equity in this.
Chris Arnold, what did Chris say?
It's Bridget's house.
She puts the care in Karen. Fuck you, Marnie.
That was a great video.
That's Bridget's house. That's true. That's
Oh,
true.
Yeah.
I can't burn down Bridget's house. I love Bridget too much.
That's true. That is true. She's a good girl.
Yes, Bridget's wonderful. I can't burn down her house.
So, James, you are in North Carolina. Will you make the trek to Durham to cheer on the Hokies this weekend?
it's next weekend. We have a bye, right?
Do we have a bye this week? No, I think it's this Saturday. Let me check.
Don't we have a bye this weekend?
Again, I've become melancholy. I don't care.
I don't really care either.
I just know we play Duke.
I don't really care either. It's basketball season. The Cleveland Cavaliers are on, guys. That's all that matters.
No. Maybe they do have a bye this week.
Yeah, we have a bye, and then we
realized that.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, all right, we got 2 more weeks of this torture.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the bye was on. I thought we were rolling into Duke, and then we're going to play UVA.
No, we got to buy. I will not go to Durham. I will not make the drive. I have driven 2.5 hours too many times to see this fucking team let me down. That's what I said the other day when someone from the athletic department called me because I'm a season ticket holder, and they said, "How's your experience been at Lane Stadium?" And I said, "You know what? I know you're not the one making the on-field decisions." I said, honestly, my experience at Lane Stadium has been great. I love Lane Stadium. I get nostalgic. I'm a sucker for Lane Stadium. I am. And it really has been a good time. I think the supporting staff does a good job. The beer lines are always kind of short. It doesn't take long. I wish they'd put the troughs back, but that's just my opinion about the
I love the troughs.
I love the troughs. The first time,
There's something about it.
Something about pissing next to another man and everybody's. It's just great.
Just
squeezing their dicks out. It's great. It's great.
It's empowering.
But I told her I'm getting sick and tired of driving 2.5 hours to watch this fucking bullshit. And I said it a lot nicer way. And I said it's not her fault. I just wish the production, the product on the field would be better. And so I will not be traveling to Durham, beautiful city of Durham, to watch the Hokies lose probably to Duke.
Oh God, if we lose to Duke, oh my God. If we're going up to UVA or not going, but
they're coming here.
Yeah, if we're going into UVA, I don't know how I'm going to feel if we are looking at that and that's going to be like up for that's our bowl eligibility. Like this can't keep happening because one day, UVA beats us once at least a decade, sometimes 2, but every time, if it happens to fall in a year where we're only have 5 wins, we'll never hear the fucking end of it. We will never hear the end of it if they keep us from going to a bowl game.
It's our Super Bowl.
Oh my God. Yeah, and they're going to come to play. Like it's going to be a whole fucking
Oh yeah.
No,
they want to win.
No, I wish it was the next 2 weeks. We're rolling into these next 2 and then fucking Thanksgiving, which UVA is always around there, but it's a headache because I got Thanksgiving. Emily's birthday is December 3rd. And so I'm rolling from Thanksgiving into Emily's birthday. And then right in the middle of it, I was invited to do my other podcast in Manhattan up there. So I'm doing that live from Manhattan on like the 2nd. So I've got that. And then it's Emily's birthday immediately. And right beforehand, it's like Thanksgiving. And so it's like this whole fucking thing just like rolling through. And it's going to be hard. I don't know how I make the UVA game is what I'm saying.
I'm not going to it.
First time UVA's been in Lane since what, 2017? Something like that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
There was COVID and then like the schedules got flipped or some shit. And we just didn't have UVA here forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to that game. I offered Paul my ticket. That's how nice I am.
He did.
Wow.
Which is crazy because you go to Scott Stadium or Lane Stadium North, as we like to call it around here, and it's like a home game for Virginia Tech. So it's not that big of a deal. And for those that want to travel, it's an easy trip. So,
but also look at it this way: if we win the next 2 games, that's a 7-win season. It is 1 under the floor.
I don't know at this point if it matters. I'll be honest with you. Like, I was just thinking about that before you said it. If we can win these next two, does 7 get us there? And I don't feel like it does. I feel like at this point we've been punched in the dicks too many times. And for those of you that don't have them, I apologize. It hurts when you get hit there. But like
figurative dick.
Yes. And it just like at this point, no. Like even if they win out and win a bowl game, I still don't feel like this season is not a success. At this point, there's nothing that they can do to make this season a success. It's a colossal failure at this point.
Yes,
and if you agree with me, that's fine, but you're wrong.
Honestly, we could have won out in out of conference. And if we still lost to both Clemson and Miami and won the rest of the ACC games, I still would have felt like this season was a letdown because I always felt in my bones we were going to win one of those. And really, to me, we did win that Miami game. But this has been yet another season of what ifs and buts. That's it.
It's life. It's like being a Cleveland Browns fan, man. It's just mediocrity at best now. Those are the expectations. It's terrible. None of my basketball team is good. My baseball team is good.
Should have just stuck with Tyrod.
We should have stuck with Tyrod. We got Wyatt Teller though, and he's fucking nasty.
Wyatt Teller is on.
But Deshaun Watson, I don't know.
Zadarius Smith is going to look beautiful in these colors, Jimmy.
He is going to look good. I'm mad we traded him too. We're sticking with Deshaun. He's a little too hands-on for me, but who knows? Oh. But I'm happy for you, Paul.
The good news for Deshaun is, I believe, as part of his therapy coming back from that calf injury, he's going to have to get massages. So he'll be right in his element. Yeah.
And I'm happy though for you, Paul. I don't know. I'm not very nice to Paul all the time. Here's the thing.
James and I have a good relationship.
We have a love-hate relationship.
We love each other
because Michigan is a piece of shit.
I think we should dig
fucking state.
I think we should actually just dig a hole in Ohio and make it into a lake. That would be better if Ohio became just a lake.
Ohio's a beautiful fucking state, and you take that back.
It's a shithole. If God was going to give America an enema, he would stick the hose in Columbus.
I was just in Ohio, and I had a great time in Columbus.
Well, that's because you were drunk.
Columbus is a beautiful city.
Be in Ohio to be drunk.
All those cute college girls walking around.
I didn't see any of that. I was at a pharmacy conference, Jimmy. Oh. I was at like a lot of cocktail parties and just getting fucking shit-faced.
Like Columbus, Akron, Toledo, Cleveland. Like, these are all just legitimate shitholes.
What the fuck do you have? Like Flint, Michigan? You can't even drink the water, motherfucker.
Flint, Michigan. Yeah, that was just Flint. And honestly, like, I would give you guys Flint. If Ohio wanted Flint, I would give Ohio Flint.
The last like 4 mayors of Detroit have stolen money from the city. Like you're
already bringing up, just like the state of Ohio and the state of Michigan, delusions of mediocrity. Our program.
That's kind of true.
Yes.
Although I will say this. The Michigan Wolverines are still the defending champs of college football until the end of this season. So I've got that. The Lions are on pace to potentially go to the Super Bowl and maybe beat Kansas City again. And the Detroit Tigers, although they did run into the Cleveland Indian Guardians and they did knock them out, the Detroit Tigers overachieved and made it into the playoffs and made it around into the playoffs. So, like, I am right now living my best sports fan's life outside of, like, what the Hokies are doing to me mentally.
I'll tell you what, the Lions are – I have a 3 TV setup in my apartment. The Lions are always on one television. They're too much fun to watch.
I like it. Boundary Corner, Jeremy. Boundary Corner is coming up next.
Everyone, go over. Watch Boundary Corner podcast. They come on live right after us. We love those guys. If you want actual in-depth analysis on football and sports, you need to watch them. If you want to just like have a circle jerk and have a lot of fun, come to us at first. We'll get you all geared up to go and listen to Brian and Curtis and Tally and Shelton actually give you the lowdown on things going
We'll
on.
get you lubed up like a Priatel sister on a Saturday night.
Oh, you're a fucking
go. Man.
Here's the thing. Follow me on Twitter, everybody. Cleveland, Jimmy Cleveland. I am best $1,000 bet. I was 10 for 10 last week on the NFL. I was 5 for 5 for college football.
God damn it.
I have 3 words for you.
We're trying to be a
Cleveland Browns money line. Cleveland Browns money line. It's my 3 pick of the week.
Why are you getting so close to the camera while you're telling us?
3 pick of the week.
Oh my God, Jay!
I saw your hair follicles on your face. It was awful.
3 pick of the week. You're welcome, everybody.
I love you for that.
All right, everyone, go watch Boundary Corner podcast. Don't listen to our bullshit. We love everyone. It's been another Blacksburg on the Rocks. Jimmy, stick around. Post.
Love you, boys.